Nammo. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fifth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I vow to cultivate good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will ingest only items that preserve peace, well-being, and joy in my body, in my consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family and society. I'm determined not to use alcohol or any other items that contain toxins, such as certain TV programs, magazines, books, films, and conversations. I'm aware that to damage my body or my consciousness with these poisons is to betray my ancestors, my parents, my society, and future generations. I will work to transform violence, fear, anger, and confusion in myself and in society by practicing a diet for myself and for society. I understand that a proper diet is crucial for self-transformation and the transformation of society. We're continuing to read Ajahn Thanissaro's book, The Karma of Questions. We're beginning the reflections on the agendas of mindfulness today. The Pali term for meditation is bhavana, development. It's a shorthand word for the development of skillful qualities in the mind. Bhavana is a type of karma, the intentional activity leading ultimately to the end of karma. But karma nonetheless. This point is underlined by another Pali term for meditation, kammatthana, the work at hand, and by a Thai idiom for meditation, to make an effort. These terms are worth keeping in mind to counterbalance the common assumption that meditation is an exercise in inaction or in passive, all-encompassing acceptance. Actually, as described in the Pali text, meditation is a very proactive process. It has an agenda and works actively to bring it about. This can be seen in the Pali description of how right mindfulness is fostered through satipatthana. Satipatthana is often translated as foundation of mindfulness, which gives the impression that it refers to an object of meditation. This impression is reinforced when you see the four satipatthanas listed as body, feelings, mind, and mental qualities. But if you look at the text, you find that they teach satipatthana as a process, a way of establishing upatthana, mindfulness, sati. Hence, the compound term. When the texts define the compound, they give not a list of objects, but four formulas describing an activity. Here's the first formula. A meditator remains focused on the body in and of itself, ardent, alert, and mindful, putting aside greed and distress with reference to the world. Each of the terms in this formula is important. Remaining focused can also be translated as keeping track. This refers to the element of concentration in the practice as you hold to one particular theme or frame of reference amid the conflicting currents of experience. Ardent refers to the effort you put into the practice, trying to abandon unskillful states of mind and develop skillful ones in their stead, all the while trying to discern the difference between the two. Alert means being clearly aware of what's happening in the present. Mindful means being able to remember or recollect. Sometimes mindfulness is translated as non-reactive awareness, free from agendas, simply present with whatever arises. But the formula for Satipatthana doesn't support that translation. Non-reactive awareness is actually part of equanimity, one of the many qualities fostered in the course of Satipatthana, but the ardency involved in Satipatthana definitely has an agenda, a task to be done, while the role of mindfulness is to keep your task in mind. The task here is twofold: staying focused on your frame of reference and putting aside any greed and distress that would result from shifting your frame of reference back to the world. This is the meaning of the body in and of itself. In other words, you try to stay with the experience of the body as it's immediately felt, without referring it to the narratives and views that make up your sense of the world. You stay away from stories of how you have related to your body in the past and how you hope to relate to it in the future. You drop any concern for how your body fits into the world in terms of its beauty, agility, or strength. You simply tune into the body on its own terms, the direct experience of its breathing, its movement, its postures, its elementary properties, and its inevitable decay. In this way, you learn how to strip away your assumptions about what does or doesn't lie behind your experience of the body, and gain practice in referring everything to the experience itself. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.